And we're back. John Ourand is the main event. Marchand and Ourand. John, let's start quick. Give me the sports angle on the Netflix, Warner Brothers, and Paramount kerfuffle.
It's not a big one, to be honest.
Way to start the pod off fast.
Yeah, I know you said fast. All right, ready? There is none.
The first question, it's not a big deal. Okay, well, give me your angle. I actually think it is a little bit of a big deal, but okay. You wrote a whole. Hold on, you have a private email. Your big main event on the private email on Monday was about the TNT sports angle. So, all right, lay it out for the people.
But the lead of that was like there are these Hollywood issues, there are these regulatory issues, there are a billion issues, and this is a flea on the back of a dog type of issue.
All right,
I think that if you are Major League Baseball, whose deal with TNT Sports is up in 2028, and you're the NHL, their deal with TNT Sports is also up in 2028. I don't see either scenario as being particularly good for them. Because, all right, so you said real quick, so I'm going to make it real quick now. In the Paramount scenario, it takes away one bidder because CBS all of a sudden is going to own everything. In the Netflix scenario, you were moving forward with a version of Versant, just a media company filled with cable channels and we all know cable is declining, and so that's not a really big media company. They're losing the backing in that scenario of Warner Brothers Discovery. I think in either scenario, it's not a great one for the leagues.
Now, I disagree a little bit of that.
Of course you do. That's why our pod was so successful when we were doing. Of course you disagree.
Well, you left, John. If you're not aware, I know you all are. He has a private email Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Then he has his podcast, which is on. It's hard to get all these days right, but it's on Wednesday and Sunday, also on Nesson and the Pittsburgh Regional Sports Network. We did talk the other day that he's going to be on the Page 6 version of
Mulberry Street.
Boston,
I didn't think Mulberry
Street.
Like Meter Perel mentioned Mulberry Street. I didn't think that was a real street.
Yeah, that's a real street, and you'll be recognized on there from your Nesson. I got people. I was on with you on that show, and people you can't even walk around New England now. We're presented by WSC Sports. Last call Thursday. We have a great guest. Hans Schroeder is my guest on the Off the Record with me, Andrew Marchand, presented by WSC Sports. You could sign up. We'll try to get you in. But that's our last one for the year. Been a great success with that, and that's been a lot of fun. Appreciate everyone who's come out. Free cocktails, free hors d'oeuvres as well. If you're a subscriber, you get preferential, not guaranteed, but preferential arrangement, and it's no charge. We're presented by WSC Sports Digital Asset Management, library that actually gets sports. Use AI tags for each player. You got a great John Ourand highlight from when he was in high school. You want it real quick. Digital Asset Management. Make sure you can find the perfect clip in minutes, not hours. Check out WSC-sports.com, twice weekly podcast, AndrewMarchand.com to subscribe. So TNT Sports has been getting smaller in a lot of respects. When you look at, first off, they lost the NBA. That's the big one. But they were willing to spend $2 billion. Now, that's when they were a combined company. I do think, though, when you look at what TNT Sports is becoming, could become, I don't think they're totally necessarily out of business if they're on their own. I just think you look at the Fox model where you can be a sports entity and you can do things a little bit more creatively. And what I would say for TNT Sports, let's just go with the Netflix deal because that one's a little bit more, they're on their own. If that happens, and it's going to be a couple of years before it happens, TNT Sports would have a lot of flexibility of what they can do. And I do think our next frontier in terms of streaming is what we're kind of seeing, the sub-licensing that you talked about. You had a really good story about NBC is maybe going to sub-license the Big Ten Championship next year to Amazon Prime Video. We can get into that in a little bit. But we've seen it with college football with what Jimmy Pitaro and Luis Silberwasser have done with their agreements with the college football playoff, where they're sub-licensing games. And then I think reverse, if you're TNT Sports, if you were to acquire properties, could you sub-license them to streamers? I just think it's possible. You see the success they've had with Big 12 basketball in terms of people liking it. I don't think they're out of the business. And then so that's my first, and I can get into. I'd like to address if Paramount were to get involved. My thoughts on that. But what do you think about what I just said there?
Two things. One is like I totally agree that they're not going to get out of the business, but I think a better comp is the USA Sports, the Versant Sports. Fox has the benefit of a broadcast network, and so it's a TNT, TBS, True TV. They're all tethered to the cable bundle, and the cable bundle has gone from more than 100 million subscribers just a couple of years ago to what are they now? Right around 60,
Yeah, 60-ish.
high 50s or something like that. So, and that's a trend that is not slowing down yet. I mean, there is going to be a floor at some point. Who knows where that floor is going to be? So I see them right now. I think that under David Levy, and even before that, Mark Lazarus, who is now running the USA Sports, they really quietly were some of the biggest. They just amassed a really good portfolio of sports. We're talking about a Major League Baseball deal where they have the championship series every single year, right? Either the NL or the AL championship series. We're talking about an NHL deal where they carry the Stanley Cup finals. I mean, this is for cable channels. The Final Four they have regularly. I forget what the schedule is.
Every other year
On that one. Will something like a Versant, the USA Sports or a TNT Sports without the benefit of a Paramount or a Warner Brothers, will they be able to afford those kind of packages? I kind of question that. And I question whether or not Rob Manfred in baseball would want to put its championship series on a strictly cable channel, moving forward. So that's where I see it moving forward. I don't see TNT Sports getting out of sports. I mean, they love the French Open. They love they have a whole international component with the Discovery International networks as well. So I don't see them getting out of sports. I just question whether or not they can really be at the table with the big boys.
All right. If you want to listen to the rest of the podcast, AndrewMarchand.com, AndrewMarchand.com, twice weekly podcast. Monty Jones last week was very popular. If you want to listen to that one and all the archives, AndrewMarchand.com. If Paramount were to take over and get this hostile takeover and get all of Warner Brothers Discovery, that's a